Also, today, Thursday, Paul Ryan hosted a meeting, again, according to ThinkProgress, with the nation's oldest interfaith peace organization. It's called the Fellowship of Reconciliation. And members of this organization pleaded, begged Paul Ryan to publicly stand up to the Islamophobia in his party and promote tolerance of refugees. Yeah. Whoever came up with the idea of asking Paul Ryan to do that must have had a little bit too much wine during lunch or something. Paul Ryan doesn't do that shit. Paul Ryan is a neo-fascist just like the rest of them. He just has that what's his name from the Munsters? The little boy. Eddie Munster look about him, doesn't he? Anyway, after these people pleaded with Ryan to stand up to the Islamophobia, a few hours later, he announced he'd be voting for the person who's been the loudest voice stoking Islamophobia in this country, and that would be the asshole. Now, the meeting with Ryan took place at his Janesville, Wisconsin office, and the Fellowship of Reconciliation said that Paul Ryan promised that he would visit the new Muslim Community Center and Masjid in his hometown, Janesville, Wisconsin, and speak out publicly against inflammatory anti-Muslim rhetoric. Anthony Grimes, who is the fellowship's director of campaigns and strategy, told ThinkProgress that the meeting included a local Muslim faith leader and his daughter who, quote, shared their stories about what it's like to be Muslim in this country, end quote. Grimes added, quote, Mr. Ryan was supportive of trying to build a country of people of all faiths. He affirmed much of our messaging, end quote. And then he endorses Trump. Now, before Mr. Grimes learned that Ryan had, just very quietly and deliberately stuck a shiv between the shoulder blades of this organization, before Grimes knew that, Grimes praised Ryan for making what he called at the time, quote, a bold stand for freedom of religion, end quote. Oh, bullshit. There's not a Christian in America that believes in freedom of religion. Not serious. Oh, they'll say they do. They'll participate in this interfaith horse crap, but they don't believe any of it. Because according to Christians, there's only one door to heaven. God. Anyway, Grimes said, before he knew about the endorsement, quote, Ryan's willingness to speak out against those who would jettison core tenets of the Constitution makes him an ideal person to initiate a national discussion. And after he learned what Ryan had decided to do where it concerns the asshole, Grimes told ThinkProgress, well, that news is something many of our constituents may be disappointed in. At the end of the day, his actions must match his words, end quote. Mr. Grimes, I don't know you. I've never met you. I never will. I'm sure you're smarter than I am. I'm sure you're more traveled than I am. I'm sure you're everything more than I am. But do you really think at the end of the day his actions are going to match his words? Paul Ryan, do you know any Republican, Mr. Grimes, office holder or not, where that has ever applied? I'll give you a couple days to think about it. But I can tell you the answer right now. Hell no. That's not how Republicans operate. Republicans, by definition, are liars. First, last, always. Liars. And then they embellish the lies with all the other bullshit that constitutes a Republican in this country. Anyway. And isn't it interesting that Ryan, in less than a month, has moved from total opposition to Trump to what is described as a cordial meeting with him and a grudging endorsement. Was that today? All without extracting any changes in Trump's rhetoric or policies regarding Muslims or refugees or apologies for past offensive statements. This is what Republicans do. This is what, see, the thing is, the way the Trump story differs from the Frankenstein story is that Dr. Frankenstein created the monster, and then the monster ran amok, and everybody went off after him, tried to kill him, and eventually did. And poor Dr. Frankenstein, didn't want his monster to be killed. Well, the Republicans created Trump. Now, instead of going after him and setting fire, chasing him up to the top of the castle and setting fire and letting him tumble into the flames, the Republican leadership is sucking up to him in a way that is almost obscene. It's almost sexual, the sucking up. Really. How about little Marco Polo Rubio? I just want to work in the Trump administration. Mr. Trump, I'm sorry. I apologize for getting offended when you trashed me and my heritage and my honesty and my looks, and I just love you. I love you, Donald. This is what they all do. Look at that crazy psycho from Alaska, Asshole Junior. The way she's running around the country with her ass on fire. Oh, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that. Oh, sit down and shut up, will you, please? Ryan also wrote an op-ed for his hometown paper regarding his endorsement. It says in part, quote, "It's no secret that he and I have our differences." Where? Trump is a psycho. He's an asshole. Your differences, Ryan? You have differences with him? It's no secret that he and I have our differences. I won't pretend otherwise, and when I feel the need to, I'll continue to speak my mind. Oh, aren't you a stand-up guy there, huh? But the reality is, on the issues that make up our agenda, Republican agenda, here it comes. We have more common ground than disagreement. You're goddamn right you do, Ryan, and your whole filthy Republican Party. You are in line with the monster you created, the asshole, the guy with the flop hair. You're in line with him. You said it. We have more in common than we disagree on. That's a lovely statement. That inspires confidence, doesn't it?